Take a breath. This ain't gossip. This is memory. Yeah.
Come from postcards mailed in by the hundreds, classroom desks, ink-stained thumbs, dream summon, small school, big odds. The whole city didn't see us, but we showed up loud, and history believed us. 15 front row, mic cord swinging low, heavyweight breath, every word hit slow. Juicy in my veins before life got serious. Back when legends felt close, not mysterious. Saw greatness breathe before the world took aim. Saw brilliance flash for the credits, knew the name. Now I rewind frames, ask who paid the cost. When power sat polished, but the people got lost. People got lost. People got lost. People got lost. Yeah. This ain't cancel talk, nah, this is grown reflection. Contracts, quiet rooms, who moved in whose direction. Talent on display, but the checkbook talk louder. And everybody ate except the ones devoured. I watch charisma wear tailored disguise. Champagne truths poured with a straight face lie. Industry smiles don't tell you who's clean. They tell you who survived behind velvet scenes. I don't rewrite history, I let it speak back. Let the silence get heavy, let the facts unpack. If the crown was rented and the rent came due, don't blame the mirror when it shows you. I remember when the music raised us, before the money trained us, before the truth cost too much to say out loud. People got love. So welcome to the tea. I pour it unfiltered, where memory meets proof and nostalgia's confronted. If you live this era, you already know. This ain't new news, it just finally showed. Yeah. Let it play. 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 Let it play.
Welcome back to the tea, everybody. It's been a minute, but I'm really glad to see you. Thanks for joining me. Now, if you're listening to this, you probably know the feeling of a fresh cassette tape, the smell of a concert hall, probably something like the House of Blues. And that specific era when hip-hop felt like it was ours. Before we even start, I need y'all to understand something. The news we're talking about today, the Netflix documentary, The Fall of Sean Combs, it didn't just make me think. It made me remember. Now, if you're a 70s or 80s baby, a hip-hop head, an R&B lover, or just a parent who still knows every single lyric to Juicy by Biggie by heart, this episode's for you. Now, I'm not here to speculate for clicks. I'm just here to discuss what was presented, what was alleged, what was talked about in the documentary, and how it landed for those of us who grew up in this era of hip-hop, the golden era. Now, let me take you back for a second. And picture this. High school. I went to a small school. We're talking 900 students max. Just a blip on the radar compared to the big city schools. There was this radio station sponsoring a contest. Whichever high school sent in the most postcards won a concert featuring the Notorious Big. Now, we were the underdogs, but we were hungry. I remember sitting in class, ignoring the lesson, just filling out postcard after postcard until my hand cramped up. The teachers, they looked the other way. They knew what time it was, and the whole school was locked in. And somehow, against the powerhouses, we won. But there was a catch. The principal got on the loudspeaker and laid down the law. He said, if there is one single fight in this school this week, the concert's canceled. Y'all, peace prevailed. For one whole week, nobody beefed. Nobody threw hands. Not the roughnecks, the preps, the athletes, the quiet kids, the band geeks. We were all united by Biggie. That was the power of hip-hop. At 15 years old, I stood there and saw the Notorious Big perform live. I didn't know then how rare that was. I didn't know how short his career, his life would be. I didn't know that I was watching a martyr standing next to a monster at the time. Biggie was a smooth natural on the mic, effortless in his Coogee sweaters. And right there by his side, dancing, hyping him up, all in the videos, all in the shine, was Puffy. That was my second concert. My first was when I was 9 and my uncle took me to see Ashford and Simpson with his girlfriend. But my second concert, the one I will always remember and holds a special place for me, was Biggie. And the next ones following Biggie were Nas, Redman, and Method Man. I lived in the golden era of hip hop. Juicy was my anthem. It was a soundtrack to my life. It inspired me so much that I wrote a song called Juicier. Music is in my DNA. But now, we're facing the music in a different way. My generation, the era I grew up in, we're having a reckoning of our own. I just want to be clear about the generation I represent. I'm a 80s baby. Was born right on the cusp. I consider myself a career woman. Someone who has had my ear to the ground in the hip hop world for decades. And we heard the rumors for decades too. We joked about the take that lifestyle. But to know that level of depraved debauchery was actually going on, it's alarming. Now, let's get into the reckoning. Let's talk about what the documentary and the lawsuits are really saying. We aren't talking about just partying. We're talking about allegations from Lil Rod and others that describe a man who demanded and required total control. We are talking about the freak-offs, the details of which are absolutely sickening.
Y'all never seen opulence like this. For the culture, let it shine.
The allegations suggest a system of coercion where people were drugged, humiliated, and dehumanized. It paints a picture of a man who didn't just want to be a mogul. He wanted to own people. He wanted to break them. He reveled in breaking them. This wasn't just sex, drugs, and rock and roll. This was a predator who masked his actions as opportunities. And I want to simply add to that. Maybe it wasn't as alarming as we think it is. Maybe we just didn't realize how rampant and wrong it was, because this is the same era that fueled R. Kelly. Just think about the similarities. We know the stories. We know how R. Kelly would hang out at high schools in the Chicago area, scouting for young girls, in plain sight, mind you. We saw it, we heard it, and the culture let it slide. Aaliyah, just to name the most obvious example, and her marriage to R. Kelly at 15. Cassie and Puffy, even though Cassie was older, but still young and impressionable, young, dumb, and full of cum. That was a saying that folks said back in the day. Back in my day. But when you look at the tactics, it's the same playbook. These powerful men become the Black Jeffrey Epsteins.
Same old story. To the hustle, to the nights we can't remember, and the people who never let us forget. Cheers.
And their enablers, their entourage. Those burly security guards were playing the part of Ghislaine Maxwell. And that's the reality. They had protection that facilitated the abuse, even, recruited. And just like with R. Kelly, folks turned the other cheek, looked the other way because the music was good or because that's just how it is. You look away until you absolutely can't any longer. And speaking of things we couldn't ignore about this documentary, let's talk about the envy. One of the most surprising, I think, and honestly pathetic things for me that came to light is how much Diddy hated that he wasn't the talent. The allegation suggests that he was deeply jealous of Tupac. He hated that Tupac had a connection with Biggie that could have transcended the delusional connection that he thought he had with Biggie. He hated that Tupac had that raw magnetic power that Diddy couldn't buy. You can't buy it, you can't borrow it, you can't steal it. Tupac was a revolutionary. Diddy was a capitalist. And that ate him alive. And it wasn't just Pac. He was envious of his own artists. Now, this has been a known rumor for years. The Lox, Mace, even Biggie, especially Biggie. There were rumors that Biggie was wanting to do his own thing before he died. And he could have, and he would have been successful at anything he did in the music industry. But what did Diddy do? Did he siphon their money? He owned their publishing, and he stole their shine because he knew deep down that he was just a curator of other people's genius, other people's brilliance, other people's artistry and creativity. He wanted to be the star so bad that he turned his artists into accessories. And of course, we have to talk about the orchestrator of this documentary. We got to talk about 50 Cent. For years, people thought 50 was just trolling. We thought he was being petty. But looking back, 50's his revenge is sweeter than sweet. He's been trying to tell us. He's been dropping hints for a decade that this wasn't just a lifestyle. It was a criminal enterprise in some respects. And 50 didn't need Diddy's money, so he couldn't be bought. And right now, 50 is taking the biggest victory lap in hip-hop history. Revenge didn't come loud, it came quietly, and it was justified. So where does that leave us? Music lovers, hip-hop heads, we love Bad Boy. The shiny suits, the remixes. I love Juicy, Biggie, his brilliance, his storytelling, his lyrical mastery. And I don't regret that concert at my high school. It was magical. The fact that 900 teenagers stopped fighting for a week just to see Biggie, that's a beautiful memory. And nothing that's happened since then can take that away from any of us that experienced that. But maturity means being able to hold two truths at once. We can love the art, but we have to condemn the abuser. We can miss the 90s, but we have to be glad that the bad boy era of silence is over. Biggie deserved better. Tupac deserved better. He didn't deserve to be taken out the way that he was. And the fact that Diddy put money on his head in a room full of gangsters is alarming. He was getting away with doing things that the drill rappers of today try, but could never get away with. Lil Durk, for example, and his crew. All those victims who were silenced for decades deserve better as well, including every ex-girlfriend Diddy ever had. Even though some of them don't know it, y'all deserve better too. So to my listeners, my R&B and my hip-hop heads, to the parents of the new generation of the new school that came from my generation, we got to protect our peace. We got to keep our circle tight and never let nostalgia blind you to the truth for any reason. I thank you for listening to me share my thoughts with you today. I appreciate you tuning in. This has been The Tea. No lies told, just history, memory, and the hard truth. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace and love, guys.
one's for the memories. North Chicago raised me. Listen. It was all a moment, standing by the red stop sign. 10 years old, wide-eyed, didn't know the time. Big truck, rolling in jeans, plaid boots on. Buzz cut, glowing sunscreen, they almost gone. I said, is that a man, just a kid speaking free? She turned, said, I'm a woman, smiled back at me. Confidence heavy, her presence stood tall. Walked straight past, while my folks laughed it off. Didn't know then, but it stayed inside. Gender ain't a cage, it's the truth you decide. Filed in my heart, let the years explain. First time I learned how freedom got its name. Know who you are, can't nobody tell you different. Power in your step, know your stride, got purpose in it. From a kid at the stop to the stud I became. Built my own truth through the fire and flaming. Plenty looks, plenty labels, people love to assign, but identities speak when you listen inside. Every woman got a story, got a road she chose. Some move smooth, some kick doors open cold. Didn't know her past, didn't ask her name, but her stance cracked something loose in my brain. Women strong and steel, driving trucks through the night, never begging permission just to live their life. Years later I rose with that same insight, a stud with a purpose and a steady stride. Know who you are, can't nobody tell you different. Power in your step, now your stride got purpose in it.